Okay, here's this. Hopefully be able to finish all the rest of these here in the next video. F prime of x, we see we have the derivative of x, which is 1, minus 3 times the derivative of the sine, which is cosine. So we have 1 minus 3 cosine x. Y prime for number 12, derivative of the sine of x is the cosine of x. The derivative of the cosine of x is minus sine of x. Okay, so those are pretty quick. G prime of x, G prime of t is, we have the derivative of a product. So we take the first function, which is t cubed, multiply it by the derivative of the second function, which is negative sine t, plus the second function, cosine t, and multiply that by the derivative of the first, which is the derivative of t cubed, which is 3t squared. Okay? I'll just leave it like that. Me too. Okay. Number 14, y prime. We have the derivative of a quotient, so that's low. D high, the derivative of tangent is secant squared, minus the tangent, high, d low. Remember, low comes before high. And the d low is the derivative of x, which is just 1. And we divide that by x squared. Okay? I know some of these I'm boxing the y prime and some I'm not. Hope that doesn't throw you off at all. For number 15, y prime, we have the derivative of a product. It's the first, cosecant of x, multiplied by the derivative of the cotangent, which is negative cosecant squared of x, plus the second, which is cotangent of x, multiply that by the derivative of the cosecant, which is negative cosecant x cotangent x. Okay, I feel compelled to simplify that, but I'm not going to. Just going to leave it alone. Alright, y prime here. For number 16, we see we have something being raised to a power, and that something, so we take the power, bring it out front, multiply it by the something, which is x squared plus 4x plus 6, raise that to the fourth power, and then we multiply by the derivative of the inside. The derivative of x squared is 2x, and the derivative of 4x is 4. Okay, should I box the y prime as well? Yeah. Okay, 17. Almost there. Y prime equals, okay, so we see we have the cosine of something, and so the derivative of the cosine of something is negative sine of that something. But since that something is not just x, then we're going to multiply by the derivative of that something. Okay, so the derivative of the tangent of x is the secant squared of x. That's it. So we could see we have the negative sine of the tangent of x multiplied by the secant squared of x. Okay. On to number 18. 18, I'm going to make it a little bit easier for me to see this. So I want to write it as the sine of x being raised to the 1/2, and that way I know I have something being raised to a power, and that power being 1/2. Therefore, I know that the y prime then is 1/2 multiplied by what's inside to the 1/2 minus 1, and 1/2 minus 1 is negative 1/2, and then we multiply again by the derivative of the inside, and the derivative of the sine of x is the cosine of x. Okay? So, almost there. Number 19, f prime of x. We can see we have something being raised to a power. We bring the power out front, multiply by the something, subtract 1 from the exponent, and then we multiply all of that by the derivative of the inside, and the derivative of x cubed is 3x squared, plus the derivative of 4x is 4. Okay? And finally, the granddaddy of them all. I'm not sure how you did this problem. If you left it as a product, then fine, that's the way I'll do it. as a product. So if you did move this term here, this factor down to the denominator, you could use the quotient rule, and either way it's fine. It doesn't really matter. But anyway, I'm going to use the product rule. We have the first function, which is 2x minus 5 to the fourth. Multiply that by the derivative of the second function. Now the derivative of this guy, that's a bit involved, okay? So it's the something being raised to a power, and that something, or that power, is negative 3, multiplied by the something, which is 8x squared minus 5. Now you got to keep track of this here. The derivative of this is negative 3 times this thing to the negative 3 minus 1, and negative 3 minus 1 is negative 4. Okay, well, that takes care of the outside, but the derivative of the inside would be the derivative of 8x squared, which is 16x. The derivative of negative 5 is 0. So that takes care of the derivative of that second function. Now, I'm going to add to that, then, the second function, which is 8x squared minus 5 to the negative 3, and then I'm going to multiply that by the derivative of the first function, which is 4 times the inside, 2x minus 5, to the 4 minus 1, which is 3. But then, don't forget, we have this inside function here, so we have inside, we have to multiply by the derivative of the inside, and the derivative of that inside is 2. So this one I really do feel compelled to simplify a little bit here. Let's see, what can we do? We've got negative 3 and 16x, so we can write that as negative 48x. And then we have our 2x minus 5 to the fourth. And then we've got our 8x squared minus 5. Okay, to the negative 4. Okay, and then, can I squeeze it all in here? Plus 4 times 2, which is 8. Multiply that by the 8x squared minus 5. 8x squared minus 5. And what was that raised to? Negative 3. And then that gets multiplied by the 2x minus 5 to the third. And that's pretty ugly. Nevertheless, that is the answer. And that's it.